Israel has started its much-awaited ground invasion. And the more one thinks about it, the more one is perplexed as to why it is that Israel seems to be not having a clear strategy at hand and seems to be following a very old method of shock and awe in which United States of America in 1990-91 bombed Iraq and then landed its forces. Because since then, there has been decades of the Middle Eastern militaries preparing themselves militarily for this kind of scenario, especially the forces of the resistance that in the end always prevails. Even in Iraq, our resistance rose against the US occupying forces and they had to withdraw. And in this particular case, bombing Gaza, the urban areas of Gaza, to the extent to which Israel has done, in which war crimes were freely committed, no hospitals were saved, no civilians were saved, no urban civilian residential homes were spared. When you do this much damage to an urban area, but you don't take a single soldier from the side of the enemy military who's going to be fighting you and facing you, you do not try to do anything to break their back or break their hold over the city into which you are finally going to be sending your own young ones to fight with boots on ground, then you are practically sending your young soldiers for combat in an area in which your enemy knows every nook and every crevice, and what you have destroyed, the enemy knows how to use the rubble for his own benefits. Israel has shut off electricity, and the internet is also gone. Now they'll go in with night vision goggles. The other side will also have night vision goggles. With the internet gone means the civilians or the humanitarian service providers or the press will not be able to give the footage of what is going on. But the military on the other side, which is Hamas, will still be able to capture the footage of what is going on and send it to the outside world. Besides, Elon Musk has given access of Starlink to Gaza City, to the humanitarian workers. So this matter has already been settled against the IDF. And in urban guerrilla warfare, the guerrilla force on the other side is going to be fighting for a civilian community that has been killed indiscriminately so much that the civilians will be firmly behind the Hamas fighters, so the fighters can put an end to this once and for all. While the Israeli military is going into urban combat, after the government of Israel failed to rescue the hostages, and those hostages who were released by Hamas, a very prominent one came out and spoke well of Hamas. And the Israelis, the families of the hostages, do not want Netanyahu to continue to fight and launch a ground invasion because their own loved ones are going to be further endangered. Actually, they are in the line of fire. They could end up dead. So the military of Israel has a civilian population that is angry with them, that is apprehensive, that does not endorse the ground invasion. And the civilian population behind Hamas will fully endorse their fight against an enemy who is so brutal and so indiscriminate in killing them. Psychologically, this is not good for the forces that are going in, that is the IDF. Structurally, it doesn't seem to be good for the forces that are going in, Politically, they have already lost this war because the attention given to this issue and the kind of support that the Palestinians have ended up gaining on the streets of countries in the world, be it east, west, north, or south, is unprecedented. Even the Jewish community has risen against this war. So it appears to be that going in to fight and through boots on ground, Israel seems to be sending its forces in, and then when inevitably, instead of staying put there and fighting, they will have to come out after assessing a part of the area. That is why Netanyahu is saying we are in for a long haul. That is going to be a long war. But time is on the side of the Palestinians in this. It is not on the side of the Israeli state. And if they go in and try to find a niche for themselves, an area which they can control, backed, covered by their Air Force, the news of the Israeli military itself having killed Israeli citizens who were held as hostages and who were actually treated very well before the Israeli military entered Gaza to kill them is going to be out with evidence. And it appears to me that Israel will be a house more divided than it is now. Let's see what happens. I pray for peace to prevail. And I wish the Israeli state would realize that this is not a sustainable strategy. For 75 years, they have been trying to get the Palestinians to go away, to disappear, to not exist. And for 75 years, they have not succeeded. But they have failed in such a way that Hamas is grown to be a fighting force, and the Palestinian cause has grown to be a cause that has the big powers behind it. You're watching Xenia Satti. I'll be back with more commentary on this.